What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I am bringing you guys another podcast. So yeah, guys, we are up to episode 6 now with the podcast, which is fantastic. This one's going to be a little bit different though, guys. So all my podcasts up to this point have been, everything's pretty much been related to the Call of Duty community. This one, we're veering off a little bit, and we're going to be talking about some film stuff. So basically, I think even if you're not a filmmaker or really into movies, you may find this a little bit interesting because I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a behind the scenes look as to what it kind of takes to make a movie. Now, I'm not going to show you any behind the scenes footage, obviously, because I like to try to keep my sets very secretive, but I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an idea of what is happening right now. So basically, guys, what is happening is for the SOAR Recruitment Challenge, for those of you who do not know, I am doing two final responses, I should say. The first one is a short film, and the second one is actually going to be a surprise. It's going to be a surprise video or a surprise response. But the short film is what we're going to be mainly talking about here. So filming has started, and it's everything's working out really great right now. I'm very excited for how this film is looking so far. I'd say the trickiest thing, in my opinion, when it comes to filmmaking is actually sound is probably the biggest thing to me personally. Sound is always really tricky to get it right because even the slightest thing may turn it, and make it not seem very good. Let's just put it that way. But that being said, so filming has started. Basically, the schedule that I'm on, the film is going to be done in 3 days. So we're kind of taking little portions of 3 different days and shooting over the course of 3 different days. So yeah, so it's crazy. It's very rigorous and exciting though at the same time. And I wanted to say I apologize, guys. I know my room is a mess. It's actually night here. I usually shoot the podcast in the daytime, but I did not have time because of shooting and all that stuff. So it is night right now, so it might be a little bit darker on my face. I might have to get some sort of key light or something to lighten up my face at some point or another. But that being said, let's get into just filmmaking in general, guys. So obviously, like I said, I am doing a short film for the SOAR Recruitment Challenge, and it's going to have a military theme, which is the clue I'll give everyone. Not the clue, but the one thing that I'll give everyone is that it is a military theme. I'll also give you that there are 3 characters in the story. So yeah, so basically, guys, it's been very rigorous. It's been hectic because I've been trying to do these daily videos, obviously, throughout the SOAR Recruitment Challenge, sometimes even double uploading, and also at the same time trying to get these 2 final responses done. It's a very time consuming, but it is definitely worth it. I'm so excited for this, guys. So let's get into the filmmaking process though, because I'm sure a lot of people are kind of curious as to the filmmaking process, like what is it like, beginning, middle, end. So really right now, we are in production right now. So we're shooting, what is called principal photography is what we are doing right now. Now, I was on pre-production, which pre-production, guys, is probably the most important part because it's all the preparation. So when I say pre-production, I mean budgeting, scheduling, I mean casting, assembling your crew and then your key crew, and doing all these different things. It is very rigorous and it can be very stressful at times. You have to be very focused, very concentrated on what you are doing. So for someone like me, I am the writer, the producer, and the director on the film. I'm not acting in it, so that would have been one extra thing, and I would not have been able to take that on. But those are the 3 things that I'm doing. I want to be a writer, producer, and a director. That's kind of my biggest thing is directing. I love to direct. So I love to write though as well as produce at the same time though. But those are what my focuses are. So I'm finding everyone else that kind of fits in everywhere else. So I have 2 other producers that are working with me. I have an assistant camera or a first assistant camera, and our crew is small because it is a short film. I'm on a very tight budget with this film, so I have to be very careful as to like how much I'm spending and such. So budgeting is very critical, and I usually have other people that help me with the budgeting because when you're trying to take on all these responsibilities, so for instance, I'm the writer, so I wrote the script for the film. And I'm also the producer, so I'm basically financing the film, and I'm making sure, overseeing like everything gets done in a timely manner and on schedule and within our budget, as well as a director who is basically foreseeing the characters and the character development in the story, as well as directing the actors as to what I'm trying to get out of them as far as their performance goes. So it's a lot that's put on me, but you see, here's the thing, guys. A lot of people in the film industry, this is what you have to do. If you want to go into this, get into the film industry, this is what you have to do as far as obviously you have to take on a lot more than what you would normally do. If, say, I was on a Hollywood budget film, I would most likely just direct. I may help a little bit with story, but for the most part, I would just be directing. So it's one of those things, guys, that's very difficult to kind of like toy with and try to like figure out, but this is very good, and it's a very good learning experience for me because I'm just trying to get better and better at becoming a director, a writer, and producer. So this has been a very good challenge for me, but it's also been really good. And I'm thinking myself, you have this, your eye on the prize. It's kind of like that light at the end of the tunnel that you're trying to move in that direction because I'm working really hard on this SOAR recruitment challenge. I really want to get into SOAR. Like, I'm working very hard not only to get this movie done as well as I possibly can, but also because I want to get into SOAR. And I feel that, when you watch the movie, it's looking good right now. It doesn't look bad. I think that it's going to get the point across to everybody as far as what I'm trying to portray in this film. But whether it's the sound quality, the acting might not be, quite up to the standards as like Hollywood, obviously, because this is a short film. And I'll give you guys a couple of hints. The three characters, one is a female, the two others are males, and one of them is a younger kid. The other guy is actually going to a university not too far from where I am, and the last gal is actually a stay-at-home mom. And so it's one of those things, guys, where when you have a budget and you're trying to stay within a schedule and try to keep everybody in that schedule, because so much stuff can go wrong. It's insane. But yeah, it has been such a phenomenal experience so far doing this film. I am really enjoying myself. I'm finding that it's going over pretty well. I mean, obviously we're rushed a lot, and that's one thing that really pisses me off, is because we have very small windows of time, because one guy, like I said, one of the characters is in university, and the one younger kid who's in the movie, he can't be there all the time just because he kind of has to be home at certain times. So it makes it so difficult when you're working with all different kinds of elements and such, and all these different obstacles that are kind of in your way of what you're trying to achieve. But I think I'm going to get the point across to all of you guys as far as the story goes. Now, obviously with sound and then with editing and all that stuff, because I have to edit as well. I have to edit the story and everything. So I have to put all this, I have to spend so much time on doing this, and that's why it's going to be difficult for me to really upload almost every day. I'm going to try, though. I'm going to continue trying. I've been doing really good up to this point. I wanted to double upload. Honestly, guys, that was kind of my plan at first, was to actually double upload every day, but I found as these final responses I'm doing, they're a little bit more complex. I am going to need more time, to focus on those. And the other uploads, obviously, I'm going to do them when I can, whether it's my news commentaries or doing podcasts or doing other different, just ideas or videos. I feel, though, that this is what I need to do in order to kind of try to show what I'm really made of. And I feel that this is going to be a story that I think people are going to like. But like I said, as far as filming goes and all these different things, there is so much that goes into these things. I want to talk some to you guys today about the pre-production process, and I was telling you guys about kind of what the different steps are and such, and or some of the different kind of like the process itself, like what are some of the things that you have to do, and what I gave you all was more so not in order, but what I'll go ahead and do here, guys, is I'll tell you, as far as the short film goes that I'm making right now, what I had to do. So here's the thing. First thing that I did with this film was write the script. That's the first thing that you do, guys. I mean, basically, Alfred Hitchcock, which is, I'm sure a lot of you don't know who he is, but some of you probably do. Very famous. One of my inspirations as far as filmmaking goes. Fantastic filmmaker. He said that it's all about the script. It is the script. It is about the script, and that is it's based specifically on the script. The movie is all about the script. Now, I agree in a lot of areas with that, with that saying that, the script is everything, which I believe that it is as well. But at the same time, I also think that there's a lot of other things, whether it is the quality of the film, the acting, as far as, how the actors are portraying these characters, and there's just a lot that goes into it. Sound, I find, is the most important thing in film. Honestly, that's what I find. People will forgive you if you have good sound. So if you have a shit story, shit acting, and all these different things, if you have good sound, though, and it is on par, people will forgive that. Now, they may still say it was a shit movie, but they'll say that it was okay because of the sound, or they're going to at least say that the sound was okay. Because when people can't hear something very well, staticky or something, that's what makes stuff really difficult. And I've had movies like that, and I don't know if this movie's going to be like that, if it's going to be kind of staticky or anything like that. But it's very difficult with sound, and I'm trying to learn better and better. It's very, very important in my opinion. My first feature film that I'm working on, I'm trying to get better sound equipment, like very professional sound equipment that's going to work really well. As well as far as camera goes, we are shooting, for those of you wondering who are filmmakers out there, we're shooting this film with a Canon Rebel T3i. So it's a little bit of an older camera, but it is still, a digital camera, and it's, it works. It works. Let's put it that way. I mean, it's not the best thing since sliced bread, but it's all right. It's a, it'll get the job done. Let's put it that way. And that's all you need. A lot of people think, oh, I need to have this, that, and the third to make a movie. No, you really don't. You just need a camera, whether it's your phone or something else. Just go out and shoot something. And but like I said, guys, it starts with a script. So the script has taken me about close to a couple of weeks, to write. So once the SOAR Recruitment Challenge came out, I had this idea in my head of this movie I wanted to do some point in the future. And when the SOAR RC came out and they said it was for content creators, I said to myself, you know what? This would be a great time for me to bring out this movie. It's military themed. Call of Duty is what we play. It's a military game, obviously. And, SOAR is looking for content creators. And they want people to be entertaining and all these different things. So I thought to myself, well, I've done numerous short films on my channel. So why not do another short film, but this one that's I've kind of been having toying in my brain, like what I want to do with it and such. And why don't I, bring it to fruition and really make this thing happen, and I'll make it one of my RC responses. And so that's what I did. So the script took me a couple of weeks to write, which is let me tell you this, guys. 2 weeks is not nearly enough time to make a very good script. Script takes time. But with a recruitment challenge like this, you don't really have that. You don't have like a ton of time. So it's kind of, especially for something like when you're filming a movie, that's not a lot of time. A few weeks is really not that a lot of time to get a movie done. So with that being said, I had to work extra hard to get the script done. On top of that, I'm trying to get a budget for this film, and I had an idea in my head of how much I was going to spend on the movie in order to get it made, and all these different things. So, like I said, the script is the beginning. You start with the script. Don't start with anything else. Start with the script, and that's what I did with my my short film coming out here. And yeah, so the script is really where it starts, and then the budget kind of comes from there. And after I got a budget for the film, which basically what you do with the budget, kind of in a nutshell, for those of you who don't know, you go through the script, and as you're reading the script, you kind of, there's certain areas where you think to yourself, okay, this is a location, so you maybe jot down, okay, how much would it be for us to stay at be at this location, if anything? How much would it be for this person to be, this character to be wearing this outfit in comparison to this one? Or you have to kind of keep into consideration props, everything that's going to be happening. What kind of shots are you trying to get? Are you trying to get extreme close-ups? Are you trying to get dolly shots? Are you trying to get all these different things that play into the budget of the film? And as you go through the script, you figure out, okay, this is what I want. The budget is done. At least this is what I did personally, guys. Got the budget done, and then from there, what I did was I started scheduling. And at the same time I was scheduling, because I was multitasking, I'm scheduling and I'm also storyboarding, which storyboarding, guys, is basically you are drawing, and I suck at drawing, but I actually just use stick figures, and I basically draw what in my mind I visualize the shots to look like. So what it would look like on screen for you all is what I'm trying to visualize on paper. So you basically are drawing these storyboards, and I had different meetings with some of my, I do run a production company. It's called Wentware Productions, and some of the people who are kind of working with me for the production company, we've had meetings and such, of course, going through the script, rewrites, and like I said, the script is really a lot to the entire process. So you get that script done, and then you're kind of like, in my opinion, you're halfway there once you get the script done, because the rest of it is basically just a lot of paperwork, a lot of work and scheduling and such. But that script is pretty much everything, because the script is what's going to get you actors, actresses interested in your project. They're going to read it. They're going to say, I connect with this character, and they'll go to your auditions. And that's another step. But like I said, what I personally did, though, guys, was I did the budget, and after I'm doing the budget, I'm scheduling, and as I'm scheduling, I'm also storyboarding. Now, everybody's process, for the most part, people's processes with filmmaking are similar. I do things kind of in a way that has worked for me. I'm very willing to work as like a little bit different for other people and such. But I've worked on other feature films before as like an assistant director or a production assistant. And this is just how I usually do it. Now, when it's a little bit of a bigger project, I go a different route, because it's a bigger project. Have kind of like, you have a little more time, more money, and like I said, I'm working on my first feature film actually as well, which I'm so excited about. I can't wait to start shooting it. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to start shooting it this year or next year, but I am so excited to get my first feature done. But that being said, so storyboarding, like I said, is really important, because that's kind of one thing that I turn to so much. And I have what's called the director's book, or a director's book. And in my book, I have all my storyboards. I have this basic copy of the script. I always have written down what we're doing each day. It's very important to stay organized, and I'm not a very organized person, so it's very tricky, and that's why it was really nice that I've had a really solid crew with me who has really helped me, with staying organized and just like keeping everything in touch and within reach of what I'm trying to do and my vision for the story. And so do a lot of storyboarding, and as we're storyboarding, we're continuing to schedule like what we're going to do each day. And from this point, we move into auditions and casting. At least this is what we did with my short film here. Casting and auditioning was what is a very brutal process, because you're trying to find the right people for the roles that you're looking for, or the characters. Someone who really connects with the characters. So let me put it to you guys like this. We had a lot of people come in for auditions, and it was very interesting seeing all these different people coming in trying to audition for these roles. And it's a brutal process because you see someone, a lot of times you like to meet the person a second time or even a third time before actually saying, like, yeah, we want you to play this part. Instead, it was kind of like these people were coming in, we looked at each of them, and then we called them back if we really liked them and to come in one more time. And that second time was when we chose, okay, this is who we want. What we really do, though, at least what I do, is as we're auditioning, if I see somebody that I like, I look at their resume, their portfolio, and then I look at their demo reel, which is probably the most important thing for an actor or actress in the film industry, is to have a reel. And this reel is everything. It basically shows your work in different, films, television, whatever it is, gives you a very good idea of what this person has done in the past, as well as you kind of see different characters that they played in different movies to see if they would possibly play a good role in your film, or if they would be able to play the character you're specifically looking at them for. And so it took us, a little while, but obviously we were under very tight time restraints. So we found the people, though, and it's worked out up to this point really well as far as the acting goes. Don't really have very many complaints. I wish I could have, spent a little more time looking, but regardless, these guys are killing it. They're doing a great job. They're basically doing exactly what I need them to, and we're gonna see how it kind of turns out in the end. But yeah, so after you kind of do the auditions all the way up until the film is done, it is, it's crazy. So let me put it to you like this. We are 2 days in with filming. We have one more left, which is going to be, either tomorrow or the following day, is our final day of shooting. Okay. And, it's gone super well, though. It's gone really well. And that's everything. That's so much of everything is the auditioning process. Now, let's move forward from auditioning. So what do you do after the auditions? What we did, at least. Now, some people will say do this before auditioning. Some people say, you can do it after. Location scouting. So this was another big thing, guys. So location scouting is looking for the places that you want to shoot your film. So it took us quite some time to find the area that we wanted to shoot in. Like I said, I really didn't have many options, which was unfortunate. But the place that we found, it seemed like it was going to work with what I was trying to do, and I could work with it. A lot of times, guys, you're going to have to do that in order to save on cost and everything else, because a lot of locations, okay, let's just say, for instance, New York. New York, you can find a place to shoot your movie for like $300, a day or something, which is pretty pricey. For some people, obviously, it wouldn't be that expensive, but for some, it is very expensive. So you have to really keep these things in consideration. How much are you willing to spend on a location? Like, how important is that? I shot a movie in New York where it was $500 to have this room, or it was kind of like a 2-bedroom apartment, and that I wanted to shoot in, and so I spent $500 on it, and which is expensive. It's expensive as shit when you think about it, especially when you're like a college student. You don't have a whole lot of money. You're trying to save up money. It's crazy. So, like I said, that the location is very important as well, obviously, to a story, and it kind of brings everything to life. So we spent some time, obviously, a few days, kind of location scouting. And I found all I needed was a house. And so I found a house, and, I basically decided, this was the best one that we've looked at. Let's go with this one. So we signed off on it, we got it, and that's where we're shooting at. So, location scouting is extremely, extremely important. And I would also have to say, guys, that assembling a very good crew is really important as well. The crews that I've had for my short films have been fantastic. They've really been cool with like working with us, and whether I'm paying them or not paying them, they've always been really cool. They've always been doing it for the experience and all this other stuff. So it's really sick to have a really nice crew with you. And that's something like, whether it's like close friends or these are just people that you've worked with in the past. And that's something that's really important to me, is to find people who really connect with one another. So yeah, so like I said, assembling a cast is really important. And like I said, location scouting obviously is a big part of everything. And then we kind of get into the next thing, which honestly, guys, when you're prepping everything to get ready for shooting, obviously you have to get the technical stuff. I mean, you got to find whether a sound person or you just have someone on set that's going to hold a boom mic, or, a cameraman, like a first assistant camera, second assistant, or, are you just going to be the one that's like, doing everything with the camera? With this film, I'm doing pretty much everything with it. I have one guy who is a assistant camera, but I'm basically doing all the shooting because of time constraints, because we have to stay on schedule. We have a certain amount of hours of daylight and all this different stuff. So you got to be on top of it at all times. And that's why, when you're under very, very tight time restraints, I feel that I just got to I got to be the one that's doing the shots, because I know kind of what I'm thinking and what's in my head. So, yeah, so there's that, guys. And that's really important as well, is kind of getting everything aligned. And as we're going, I mean, all the way up until the film begins, when production actually begins, you're probably going to be revising the script. Even afterwards, you may be revising things in the script that you just want to keep on changing, to like minor tweaks and changes that will, really make the story stronger. And so that's something else that I think is very it's important, guys, that you have to realize that these things, like I said, they take time, but it's really worth it in the end when you start seeing your work come out and you're just like, wow, this is so cool. And I love being in the film industry. Like it's a different kind of industry, because it's really expensive to go to film school. I mean, it's so expensive. It's one of the most expensive kinds of schools to go to in the world. And you a lot of times will get out and you will make almost nothing out of film school. And people, though, that do film, they do it for the art of film. They don't do it because some people may try to do it to get rich or something, but for the most part, a lot of people are doing it because they love filmmaking. They love the art, the craft of motion pictures, of cinema. And so do I. I mean, I love making movies. It has been a passion of mine since I was a kid, and I have loved every moment that I've been able to film movies, and I can't wait to start filming bigger stuff. Bigger projects are something that is just I'm so excited for. But, the Call of Duty community, YouTube has been just so great, because I've been able to kind of stay involved in, making videos at least, which is still, it's not filmmaking, but it's still somewhat similar. And I'm still able to do short films here and there, and I can post those on YouTube and such. And that, that's something that's really, it's awesome, and I love it, and it's been such a great process. And like I said, once you get to that production process and you're in the midst of principal photography, it is it's crazy seeing. I mean, it's so hectic. You're so stressed out by the end of the day, because it's like you've done all this work to get certain shots done, and it's even crazier for feature films. I mean, it's insane what you have to go through. And but I love it. I mean, it is a craft. It is a job, a future that you really want to have. You have to think to yourself, I don't know how much money I'm going to make here, but I'm going to do my best in order to make a really good movie, or at least tell a good story. And I mean, and that's really what I find is the key to everything when it comes to filmmaking and, cinema, and anything that really has to do kind of like in the media arts realm. You just have to love what you're doing. It is so, people will go into these things and then they realize, man, it's just way too much work, or I don't want to do this because I like it, but I don't love it. You have to love it. In order to do this as a career, you have to really love it. And, YouTube is a fantastic hobby to have if you're a filmmaker, because it keeps you involved in making videos and just staying active and just working hard, as well as like you try to set time aside to be able to work on your films and such. So it's so cool, and I have absolutely loved it. Now, let me just see if there's anything else. You know what, guys? I think I actually pretty much covered everything as far as like everything going from pre-production to production. But I'm going to pick it up at some other point where I'm going to talk about production. Probably after my movie comes out, I'll talk a lot more like in-depth kind of behind the scenes stuff. And then after probably in a week or a couple weeks or so, I will make a video talking about post-production, which is basically the editing, music, all these different things that you have to do in post-production, because the filmmaking process, guys, is a process. It takes time, doesn't happen overnight. It is very difficult. It is grueling sometimes, but it is so awesome when you're sitting there and you're working on something that, and you write a script, and then you see that script come to life by these characters that you chose, and then you see that, coming to life when you're actually like editing and stuff. I mean, it's just such a fantastic process, and it's fucking amazing is all I gotta say. And like I said, I can't say it enough, guys. I love YouTube, but filmmaking is just, it is everything to me. Like, it just means so much to me. And obviously, guys, if I were able to do YouTube forever, I would be so happy camper. I would love to do YouTube forever. But I think I would always, even doing YouTube as a career, if I could like be able to fit short films into my YouTube channel at time and time again, that would just even make me even more happy, like, because filmmaking is just, I love doing it. People get excited when they hear that you're filming a movie. Everybody wants to be in it, and people get excited because filmmaking just brings about like happiness and a lot of like just a lot of hype by lots of people. People hear that you're filming a movie and it's a big deal. Like, oh my God, they got movie stars in our town or whatever. I mean, it's really cool. It's a really cool process, and it's a lot of fun. And I did a 6-week filmmaking course over at the New York Film Academy, and I am going to do a review on that probably within about a week or so on my second channel. So definitely, if you guys have not subscribed to my second channel, go ahead and check it out in the description down below, because I am going to be uploading a review on that, because people ask me sometimes, hey, Zero, like, as far as your, when your filmmaking process and all these different things, where did you go to film school? Do you have a review on it or anything like that? What was your experiences like? And I have multiple experiences from film school, guys. I went to a high university, which is where I went and I studied film, and then I actually went to the New York Film Academy and I did a short-term program there. So I will give you guys like kind of my review on the Film Academy, because OU was more they did have a film school, but at the time I was there, I was just doing prereqs, so I wasn't really able to do any kind of film related stuff. I did some film history classes, some film cinema, some very basic stuff. Most of the stuff that I learned, though, guys, was on my own. I met a lot of people at the New York Film Academy, but most of the stuff, guys, I learned on my own or by just being on set, because I was assistant director for 2 films, and I was production assistant on 1. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, and that's everything in a nutshell. So like I said, I will have some more videos for you guys regarding the film industry at some point or another. Sometimes I like to talk about these things. Call of Duty, I love Call of Duty, and I will always talk about Call of Duty. Every once in a while, though, I like to talk about film, because film is my other passion. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.